Okay, Google, what's the most important thing to you?
Here's a summary from the website home magazine Gainesville.com. What really matters? The 7 most important things in life: peace, health, family and friendship, purpose, time, learning, and love.
Let us begin. When I asked Google that question, I was looking for one thing in particular. I was trying to figure out what's the most common thing that you feel is your one priority. Let's look at it together. Peace, health, family and friendship, purpose, time, love, and learning. Peace. If your life was unpeaceful, chaotic, full of drama, full of gossip, full of anything that's just distracting you, how does that make you feel? Where does that place you on a day-to-day basis? And overall, where does it leave you? Where do you end up feeling every night when you're laying in bed, every time that you wake up? Chaotic or in order? Peace. It makes sense, right? For peace to be the thing that is most important. What is important to you? And when I look at peace, when I think of peace, I think of stillness. I think of waters. I think of things that really bring peace in this life. Air that when you take a deep breath and you really feel your breath. When you're at the beach and you really hear the sound of the ocean. That peace. I guess I'll have to relate everything to ourselves, to what we have. And we all have a heart. We all have that heart that constantly repeats. Well, sometimes it repeats faster and sometimes it repeats slower. That heartbeat. That consistency. That pattern of... It's a sort of peace in itself, right? It's a sort of remembrance that peace is within and peace is possible. Because it's there in us. Health. I saw on one of my good friends' Instagram story that they're posting, is health one of your priorities? Shout out Rosa. She goes to the gym 5 a.m. nearly every day. Of course, she takes the times off she needs to take off, and she works harder the day that she goes. And she asks, is health one of your priorities? Even Stephen Bartlett says the same thing. He prioritizes health. Because if you're not healthy, if you haven't looked after yourself, how are you going to be able to perform? How are you going to be able to execute? There's a question to ask yourself. However, if you're healthy, if you eat well, you sleep enough, and you can look after your body the correct way in any manner. That may be a Domino's once a month or takeaway once a week, but still having home cooked meals, doesn't that sound important to you? If family and friends being important, I've created this concept to where when you're born, you come out your mother's womb. Well, for me, C-section. And in coming out your mother, that is your first place of community. You and your mother. And your father, of course, if they're present. You're born, mum and dad. Then you got family members who come to see, let me see the child. They come over to the house, come over to the hospital. And over time, that child grows up. Child is exposed to other young children and their parents. And then as that grow up, they usually grow up in the same school together. Primary school, high school, college, and maybe even university. Over that whole period of time, that child is creating communities. Now, in those communities, family is that first community that we have, and friends are the next communities that we choose to have. The importance around that is when family, that first community that we're introduced to, is distorted, the likelihood of it distorting yourself is even higher, which then reflects in your life. Because it's number one, right? But if it's imbalance, if it's in order, or it's something that you prioritize to make strong, it plays on the rest of your life, because that's the first community that you're introduced to. So the importance around friends and family is around the community you want to be a part of, around the people you want to be with. You can't choose which family you have. At the core, you always have parents who gave birth to you, and their family is your family that you've been brought into. That's undeniable. That's just how it is. Whether you choose to accept it or whether you reject it, that's another thing. So is it important to you? I've talked about 3 so far: peace, health, family and friendship. How important are those 3 areas of life to you? Do you have peace in your life? Do you search peace or create peace in your life, I should say? In your health? Is it up there for you to look after yourself? To be able to walk up a flight of stairs without running out of breath? In friends and family, are they close, are they far, are they existent or non-existent? What are your communities looking like? But let's move on. Purpose. Purpose being something of importance. It's almost like a law of life. Purpose. Everything has its own placement in this world. With humans, purpose is a thing we get to choose and a thing we don't get to choose. What I'm here to tell you about purpose is the importance around purpose is what it's for. That's what it's about, right? purpose, the use of this thing. Being human, you get to decide that, create that into, I've got this physical body, I've got this mental being, these emotions, and this spirit. Part of this community, I'm not a part of that. I want to try this, I want to be there. And that's your purpose. A purpose is what you take action in to move forward, is what you strive towards to better yourself, to better your life, to get what you desire. Time. The importance of time. Time is kind of continuum. So if you cannot stop time, if you cannot all the time to go backwards to change something, what can you do with your time? Where can you place your focus and work and energy? Because it's in the things that you do with your time that yield what you get out of your life. For example, how, when you're cooking food, the food has to cook over a period of time for it to be edible. It's within that time frame that things can happen. It's within that time frame that change happens for you to get what you want, for you to eat what you desire, whether that's microwavable food or something that's being slow cooked. And that even makes me think this time exists. Because if time... No, I'll leave that out. So is time important to you? Not whether you have loads of it or whether it's minimal. It's about what you do with it now, what you do with it with this second. You're watching a video, of course, right now, but what does time mean to you? How do you use your time, and could it be used better? Before I get into the last two, I want to ask you, if you enjoyed this, press subscribe. But let's continue. Learning. The importance of learning. Here, Google is saying learning is one of the most important things we can do. When you're in the city centre, you always see little children, right? With their parents holding their hands or the buggy. And I've always thought the curiosity behind their eyes is enormous. Every little thing is new, is different, it's amazing. That's how they develop, that's how they grow. But what happens to us when we grow up? We tune ourselves into the words we say about ourselves, into the people we hang out with, into the area we're in even. And that's an effect on us. We almost lose that kid-like sense to learn more, whether that's in what you know or in what you don't know. Learning is one of the most powerful things any person can embark on to gain knowledge, to better themselves, to live a different life. Because you learn positively and negatively. Learn your failures, you learn from positives, you still move forward, you gain and acquire, or even better, you lay down a new brick in your house of life. Imagine how life is a house. Each learning, each failure is in a brick. You're adding to the whole construction. For some, it's a mansion. For some, it's they're just beginning. And for others, you just got one wall up. But you're adding that one brick. And in that, you're defining your construction. You're defining yourself. I ask you, what does that mean to you? And lastly, love. There's another concept I'm creating. This concept of universal language. I've thought of music, money. There's a few others I'll mention in another video, but there's also love. Love is a universal language. Old to young, rich to poor. Love is all within us innately. There's a reason it's already placed within us without us even have to think about it. I love to say that love is an accumulation of all emotions. Love is anger, love is peace, love is hate, love is forgiveness, love is every type of emotion all in one. It truly just cultivates everythingness, if that's even a word. The 7 most important things. This is what Google said, but what about you? Do you agree with this list, and what does it make you think of on your own life? I thought it would be a bit of fun to play with Google and ask her, what's the most 7 important things to you? But she gave me a different list. I hope you enjoyed today's video as well. If you did, as I said, press subscribe. Share this with a friend or family member. Like the video if you liked it. And comment 7, just to reaffirm and soothe in your mind. 7 most important things. I enjoyed that. Thank you once more for watching. I'll see you next week.